Good evening, everyone. Time for another silver update. This is the 4-hour chart of silver provided by netdania.com. You can click on the link below. And we had a touchdown today of about 26.12. Now, this came coincidentally right after the announcement that JP Morgan apparently lost $9 billion on their derivatives trade to quickly be rescinded and corrected, and we'll go into those stories in a second. But if we pull out to the 8-hour, I think the 8-hour has all of them, the lows. So this low that we got back in September, actually the low was 26.05. I can't get it right on right now, but it was 26.05 there. This was 26.14. And today we had around 26.14 as well. So we haven't quite touched, you can see we haven't quite touched that low that we did, but it does appear that we're trying to find a new low here. And as I said, that move today, if we go to, say, the 5-minute, the news from JP Morgan was announced, I believe it was 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time, or maybe they came around 8 o'clock. It was a New York Times article, and then right after that we got this huge sell-off and a new, some people said 19-month low. I know it was a new low for the year. Perhaps it was a 19-month low. So a new low in silver right after the JP Morgan news. Now, that first story was actually broke by the New York Times. And you can see, well, this one actually says 2:30 a.m. So that was news that hit right when trading opened. But then this was quickly revised to 3 hours ago now. The loss is more likely to be 4 billion to 6 billion. So this is kind of like trial balloon stuff. It's really silly because everybody knows that you can't believe a word that's coming out of Jamie Dimon's mouth. This is a bank that has, I don't know, what, $70 trillion in derivatives. So it's a gigantic paper Ponzi scheme, and they're trying to play some kind of game of chicken or a trial balloon. It's really just silly because everybody knows they're backstopped by the Fed, and they're gambling with taxpayer money, paying themselves enormous bonuses and looting the Treasury. So that's the bottom line. But the main thing is that gives stackers an opportunity to get more silver. Now, I wanted to do a quick plug for the Silver Liberation Army, and he sent me an email. This is a forum and a website that he started, and for those of you who are interested in free silver, he's giving away a free mercury dime. I think you just have to go on to his forum and post 5 posts or something like that. So that's a giveaway and I'm going to cover my giveaway in a second here too. Here it is, 5 relevant posts. You'll receive a silver mercury dime. And I really like to encourage this. This is a new message board, and I think he's trying to get it off the ground. I encourage you to support it. And for me, the silver community is not a competition. It's more a big tent. And my opinion is that the more people under the tent and the more people that are trying to get the word out, it's more likely that more people will hear about the silver story. And I don't really put a lot of confidence in the politicians to fix anything. I certainly don't put any confidence in the bankers to fix anything. But I think the people can probably fix it if they buy enough silver. So go ahead and head to his site and sign up and get your free silver dime. I don't really know what the cost is. Maybe the cost of an envelope to send it out. So it's a great idea. But you can get a free silver dime there. I still have my silver sweepstakes running, and we need another 70 to sign up to reach that 400. Once that 400 is reached, it will it will trigger the random drawing that already happened, and it will name the 4 people who win. We're giving away a Silver Eagle coin, a 2008 Olympic Maple Leaf coin, a 2009 Perth Mint Koala, and a 2007 Perth Mint Koala. And that's a neat one because that was the first one that came out. And so go ahead and sign up if you're interested in trying to win that contest. Now let's go to the question of the night, and that is about the 2-ounce dragons. If you remember, I mentioned that I'd pulled the trigger on those when it was trading, I think 64, 66, something like that. I don't remember the exact price. About 32 and a half bucks, 32 to 32 and a half bucks an ounce, which I considered a deal. Now, the big controversy with this is that APMEX, he says here, this is FL Headhunter, he says, this week there was a buyer of the remaining coins, approximately 150 were left, and they went to zero. Later that day, the product manager added approximately 500 coins for sale. They have sold approximately 12,000 of these so far, and apparently have access to more. Now, I'm not sure where he got that figure. I've actually seen the 500 replenished a number of times now. So the question that we asked, I really don't know what APMEX motivation is on that, whether they're actually getting a new stock or whether they're just trying to promote the sale of that coin. It really doesn't matter to me, because if it's 2-ounce dragon and I'm getting it for 32 bucks an ounce, I consider that a deal. I think that in the future the Chinese are going to be very willing to pay a very high price for those coins. But let's go over to the comparesilverprices.com. Well, before we do that, let's go over to APMEX. And I just wanted to cover that Dragon series. Now, if you remember, the Dragon series was a very much anticipated coin, and there was a lot of pre-order. It was kind of like the, if you remember, the 5-ounce America the Beautiful coins. They had a huge crush of people trying to get those coins, and then they had a lot of pre-ordering and very high price gouging, and then a crash. So it was really interesting to watch that crash, and you can pick those coins up really cheap right now. I've recommended them as something that I was looking at in the past because the price to spot was really close, but I really don't like that Washington quarter side. That really just, it doesn't do it for me. So that's why I've never really gone in for those. Plus a 5-ounce coin is a really big coin. But anyway, as far as the 2-ounce, you can see they're back down to 254 of those. Now, what's very curious is the 1-ounce, and that's the one that was much like the a very hyped up and promoted coin. That now you can see that APMEX has nearly 7,500 of those coins, but they're asking $64.99. Now they were asking $75. I think when it first came out, they were going for like $100 a coin, but you can see it's really slowed down. So I like to. I really don't have any of these. I'm not willing to pay anything like that, but I do have the 1/2 ounce. I did a video when I was buying those. And now I have the 2-ounce. You can see the 1/2 ounce. There's 1601 of those left. That's $17.73. So that's still $35 to $36. That's almost $10 above spot. So that's still pretty steep, but nowhere near as steep as those 1-ounce dragons are. So it's possible that APMEX is going to come down some more on those coins. It just depends. And this, of course, the key is that this is limited mintage. Now, if you note here, he said in his post that they've been that APMEX has sold 12,000. I don't know who else has sold them, but I know from past experience with the Perth Mint that the mintage on those open mintage ones is determined by how many people order them. So there have actually been coins out of the Perth Mint that have had very low mintage just because not that many people order them during that year, and once that year passed, they went to the next issue. They stopped. So you actually have some very rare ones that were open mintage numbers, but they just didn't mint that many. So will that happen with the 2012 2-ounce and half-ounce? I don't know. Some speculation I heard on one of the videos on my blog, and let's go over there because I want to cover some things here. But we'll try to find his post, and actually I'm just going to go to, before I go to the posts on the blog, I want to talk about Chris Duane real quick. But if you listen to the interview with Kerry Lutz and the roundtable that we did, Chris has announced that he's going to try to step away and concentrate mainly on the Sons of Liberty Academy. I completely understand, because it can be overwhelming at times, and that's why I just want to again thank the people who've donated by PayPal, and also those who've donated Bitcoins. And just the smallest amount helps. I really would like to keep the blog free and keep the YouTube free. I completely understand Chris's decision because he has so much going, but I would really like to keep things free here. Now, if we click on the WordPress, any of you that have WordPress software, this is how it works, and it takes you into the Jetpack stats. But you can see on the stats that we've got 95 articles published today. So that's 95 news stories that just came out today regarding silver, gold, and some politics, but mainly silver, gold, and markets. And that's a lot to read. That's more than I can keep up. That's probably more than anybody can keep up with in a day. But that's how much news is out there breaking. So we really appreciate your support in bringing that to you. Now, the link I wanted to go to is Realist News, and this is a guy we've been covering. Now, he says, I don't know what his source is, I think it was Silver Doctors, but he said that Perth has done 40 times the normal volume in the Lunar Series 2. So if that's the case, that is a big news story. I would be really shocked to find out if that were true. If it were true, then that means that, as Eric Sprott says, that we're even beyond dollar for dollar buying silver for gold. I just have no idea how they can continue to mint all of these coins and sell them to the public at a $1 and yet not have the price rise. So it's inevitable, if that's the case, that silver's going to rocket higher when it runs out. But go ahead and watch that video. And before I make a quick comment on the news today, I wanted to jump over to comparesilverprices.com and give them a plug. Now, this is a site where they do a metric and compare the sites that are selling silver and what they're charging. You can see the sites on here. We've got Liberty, Kitco, Provident, Texas Precious Metals, Bullion Direct, APMEX, MJPM, Lear Capital, JCS. So I didn't see Gainesville on here. I thought Gainesville was on here. And there's gold, silver. But what he does is he compares the current price for these products here, and you can see he's got the Silver Eagles, the Maple Leafs, the Philharmonics, 1 ounce rounds, fractionals, tenth and a quarter, the bags, the bars, and the boxes. So really neat service, because what you can do is you can scroll down and you see the green. This is going to be your best price for any of these, and you can see it's dominated by Liberty. I haven't done business with them, but it looks like they've jumped in and grabbed the most lowest prices. Provident has got the best prices on monster boxes of Eagles and on the monster boxes of the Philharmonics. You can see that on the monster boxes of the Maple Leafs that Texas Precious Metals has got that. And then you've got some stragglers down here, JCS Gold. So I'm not familiar with all these sites, but it's an important service that he's providing here, and it's really good to have a site where the various dealers are forced to compete in an open free market for spot silver, physical silver. So this is a really good thing that he's doing. You can see we just got a refresh there, and currently silver's at 26.40. So the lowest price here on a 1 ounce well-known mint is going to be a tie between your Philharmonics and your Maple Leafs at 28.83. So that's about $2.40 above spot. So that's pretty normal. The Eagles are going to come in here at almost 3 above spot. And as I said, I bought the Dragons at about 32, so that's another $2.50 above that. So those are the prices on spot at comparesilverprices.com. So wanted to mention briefly the breaking news today, and of course that is the upholding of the healthcare law, the Obamacare law. And this was a 5-4 decision by the Supreme Court, and the swing vote, of course, was Justice John Roberts, Chief Justice. And of course all your conspiracy Alex Jones type theorists are going to talk about how this is the guy that flubbed the swearing in of Obama. And there's a lot of news about this, a lot of opinion. Romney's stumping about it. And just to give you my opinion, really honestly, I really don't care. First of all, the main point is this, as one who, I've told you before, one who spent a number of years in law school. When you see a 5-4 Supreme Court decision, that pretty much invalidates the decision on its face. Because if you think about it, these people, their job is to tell us what the law says and how it applies to current legislation. And when you have a 5-4 ruling, when 5 of the people are saying this does not violate the U.S. Constitution, and 4 of the people are saying it does violate the U.S. Constitution, then you can be guaranteed that there is significant confusion as to what the U.S. Constitution says and what it means. So, in my mind, these people have absolutely no credibility whatsoever. The jury system is a system that requires unanimous verdicts, and I don't see any reason why the Supreme Court should not be able to come to a unanimous verdict. The fact that they come to a 5-4 decision is a sign that they're no longer making decisions based upon the law, but they've just become another political branch, and that is not what they were intended to be. So the Supreme Court, in my mind, completely irrelevant. Now, Obamacare, I really don't care. And the reason why I really don't care is my most recent experience with the medical system. I can honestly tell you that the allopathic medical system that we have in this country is very much interested in taking your money and really not a lot more. So in my mind, this healthcare bill is just an extension of the current system, which is a completely broken system. And of course, the reason why our healthcare system is a broken system is because it's not a free market. I've pointed out before, and many people have pointed out before, that if you want to see a free market in medical care, you only need look at plastic surgery or LASIK and things that are not within the insurance system, and you'll see a real free market system. We don't have that in this country. We have a broken system, and Obamacare is just more money for insurance companies. And the way you can tell that is this chart right here is a chart of United Healthcare Group. You can see when the news initially broke that United Healthcare Group sold off, but it actually rallied and finished in the green by 0.5%. So this is one of the insurance companies, and you can see since the announcement of Obamacare, which was roughly after his election, we'll go back to the spring of 2009. Obama was sworn in beginning of 2009. You can see United Healthcare Group has run from about a low of around, what do we have here, about 16, maybe 18. So we've got about $18 a share to where it currently is at $60 a share. So United Healthcare Group has more than tripled since the Obamacare bill was passed, and today, with it being validated by a bare majority in the Supreme Court, we ended in the green. So, in my mind, just a big scam, another promotion of the allopathic failed medical model, more money for insurance companies, the government's ability to get their hand in the pie, and just more of the same. Of course, the exact wrong direction to go in. The right direction to go in, of course, is going to be a free market, and that's what we're looking for in silver. Hopefully, at some point, the free market, the physical market, is going to win out in silver, and we'll actually get a true price. And we'll talk to you next time.